Welcome to another episode of the CarryTrainer Higher Line podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Higher Line podcast. We have our friend Dr. Stephen Sikorsky. I don't believe in chiropractic.
All right.
We were just talking before we started. He said he had somebody tell him, I don't believe in chiropractic. Chiropractic.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. That's why. Then I told him I didn't believe in electricity.
Because he was an electrician.
He was an electrician.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this.
Maybe. And then he's going to be like, what an idiot.
You had a failure with your card.
Uh-oh, what happened? Technical glitch. So you and I met at Paul Sharp's gym, where you take odd blows to the nose from me from time to time. I punched him by accident twice. Now all of a sudden it's like a pattern.
It's a pattern every time.
So
Spazzo.
one of the reasons that I asked you to come do this was after class. So after an hour of working out and having fun, you do a routine at the end of some core exercises. And we got to talking, and I'm like, well, that's cool because that's, you know, like man shit. You work out for an hour and then you continue to work out while everybody else gets ready to go home. So I found out, and I'm going to let you talk, but I'm just making sure people understand why we're doing this. Found out that you're a chiropractor, but you're also a Ironman triathlete.
Yes.
You've done bunches of that kind of stuff.
A ton.
Like, so you got like the bug, the mental illness bug.
I just like exercising, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
It keeps you better.
And you've got years of combative practice under the belt.
Yes.
So a couple things I thought it'd be fun to talk about. Chiropractic in general. So what got you into that? We'll start with that. Chiropractic. I keep making up words.
Chiropractic, yeah.
Yeah.
I hurt myself.
Okay.
And my mom took me to the medical doctor, and then my dad took me to the chiropractor. This was in wrestling in 7th grade, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I said, I'm going to be a chiropractor, and I was lucky enough to become one.
You've been at it over 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw on your website 21 years.
Yep.
Is that right? Is that
21
accurate?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. You work outside of the suburbs of Chicago and Elgin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. We have a small office. It's my office now, and we treat a variety of people. We treat children as well as athletes and older seniors.
So you don't specify or specialize in just one thing. I knew a guy years ago that worked with boxers. Like that was his thing as a chiropractor.
Yeah.
So you kind of broad.
I treat everything. I like athletes.
Okay.
Because I'm an athlete myself.
Yeah.
But I'll treat anybody that walks through the door.
What's the point where it's like, okay, I can't fix this. You need to go see a ortho or something else.
Well, I think that's going to be a case per case basis. So if somebody comes in, let's say you came in with a shoulder injury from jiu-jitsu, and I would make a diagnosis, or we would say, I think this is going on. I think we should take this amount of time to get better. Mm-hmm. And if we don't reach those goals, then we have to decide, is my diagnosis wrong? Or is there something else going on that I don't know? You might refer for an MRI, and then from there, let's say it comes back as torn. Well, then you might direct to an orthopedist.
Okay.
And it just depends. So you kind of have to set goals, and then if we're not meeting those goals, then we have to decide what's going on and where you would go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it fair? I know a lot of guys over the years that say, like, man, all those guys do is just like crack bones, make popping noises, and take people's money. like. I'm sure there's a guy I saw on YouTube, a friend of mine that's a chiropractor here locally, sent me a video. It's like, I think it's in Texas, and the guy's got a huge YouTube channel. There's millions of views. It's not the porno one I told you about. It wasn't technically porn, but the guy's got like girls in bikini tops, and they're like, getting backtracked and stuff. Your wife's like, what the heck are you doing?
See, that's why everybody still comes to us, because we just have hot chicks just coming in all the time.
But he's got a practice where he goes through the same routine with everybody, and like somebody comes in and they can't stand straight, and he films them, and then when they're done, they're like perfect. And it's like that ain't real. And he does something where he ties a towel around their neck. Is it called like the Turkish towel something? and like they're in traction, and he pops their neck.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I wouldn't think you did, but like this guy has millions of people watching this nonsense. Is any of that real?
I don't know. I've never seen them.
Okay, well, I thought I'd bring it up because I didn't know if maybe you were going to be like, that was my college roommate or something.
That would be cool. Well, you know, our main tool is adjusting. So pretty much everybody will come in the clinic will get adjusted if it's warranted. And then after that, it depends on the condition. So if they need a little bit more rehab component, they'll get more rehab. I do a lot of soft tissue. So if they need soft tissue work, they'll get that. And then I think a big component of my practice in particular is the educational component. And so like our workout that we do after jiu-jitsu is some of the exercises I'll show my patients so they can improve themselves and then they don't have to come back because they'll be stronger and better.
Tighten up their core and
or just make them better.
Yeah.
If you have for you, if there's a specific, your job has a specific stress applied to the body, and if you get injured due to that, you have a couple things. Either you can continue to live with the pain, you can quit your job, or you can improve what's going on in your body so that you can continue. And that's like an important part of like care, is so that the person is able to continue to work. If they work in a factory,
it's not just treating the acute pain.
No, it's trying to get beyond that and really improve themselves.
Yeah. I think that's probably any good doctor would want that.
Yeah. I think so. Sure. And that's the difference between, like, you hear they just want you to come back, like, oh, the chiropractors just want you to come back forever. Well, if you do a good enough job and you can educate the patient, you might not see the patient forever, but you might see them in the future for their next injury.
Yeah.
Or their next injury.
Yeah.
And that's my ultimate goal for my practice.
And they're going to tell their friends and family.
Yeah.
And
My practice is 99% referral.
That's good.
All I get is referral.
That's good.
Yeah.
What is actually happening? I've been adjusted. Most people listening will have probably had experience with it. When you're doing that, what's all that noise and stuff happening? What's actually going on?
Like super technical, or just like?
I mean, is it any different than?
No, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So there is the cavitation is just gas being released in the joint. So when you create a cracking sound, there's just gas releasing in the joint. So you're just taking the joint through its physiological motion, and then you're getting into that very last part, and that's what you hear, the cavitation. And then what it really does, it restores mechanics to the joint. So a healthy joint moves well. So the adjustment is trying to restore proper motion to your spine, knees, ankles, wherever it may be.
I see. So you adjust my neck. What stops that from just immediately 20 minutes later being right where it was?
Well, it will regress. That's where all the other aspects of care come in. You know, if you just adjust somebody once and we're not giving them the other tools, like sitting, like for example here, this is probably not the best biomechanical position. So now if that person comes in and gets adjusted and then they sit in a bad position the rest of the day, well,
that's why I'm leaning back.
You're trying to be like upright and straight. And then you work with that. If it's a person that works in an office, where's your computer? Where's your keyboard?
Sure. My wife finally got one of them standing up desks.
She like it?
Yeah. I think it goes up and down. I've never been in her office, but her new office, if they've remodeled it. But yeah, it like lifts up and down and split keyboards. I think it's like this, because this was starting to cause like numbness.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah, so she's got a split keyboard and can stand.
Yeah. How long does she stand a day for?
I think she kind of splits it up. Like, sit, stand, sit, stand. I think you just lift it up and push it down or something.
Yeah, you wouldn't just go from sitting to standing.
It's very abnormal, the things. I was just doing a little video yesterday. I'll show you what I did later when we go out in the other part of the gym out there. But the premise was, we do this. We sit in our cars, our trucks, come home. What do? You like get in off the train, and just sit right on the couch. You know it. I'm not preaching to you, but
what's the hardest lift? Your ass off the couch.
That's a good one. Mentally.
Mentally getting yourself up to come down to the basement or go to the gym, or if you're tired, go to Paul's place and do jiu-jitsu. It's hard. So
part of your job then is motivating your patients to want to do this stuff, because you could say, hey, here's a list of exercises, I'm going to show you how to do it. Then you got to get them to do it.
You got to get them to do it.
Do you have the argument or discussion like, John, you keep coming back here. Nothing's changing. You think I'm just going to like crack you up every week or month. And I can tell you're not doing what I'm telling you. Like, does that happen?
Yeah. And you just say,
take your belt off.
Yeah, it's like, that's it. Let's go to gyms.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, it's their money. It's their time. It's their health. That's what you have to tell them. And at the point, and there's the thing, like if somebody's not getting better and they're not doing their things, is it ethical to continue to treat them?
That's a good point. Kind of like totally different, but in my mind, it's analogous to the doctor prescribing like pain meds.
Just constantly. Then they get addicted and then they're doing heroin.
I'm making them feel better, but I'm not helping.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like for even like you, like if you train somebody to shoot a specific way and you give them drills, but they never do it, they're never going to improve their skill.
Right. That's interesting. And that's probably indicative of most people. Everybody, not everybody, most people want the path of least resistance, the easy way out.
I think so.
Give me the pill. Tell me what I can do to drop the weight, make the pain go away, whatever it is, right?
And that's, I think, too, is as you practice longer, you attract the patients that are going to do the things. You know, so if you came to see me and you were referred in, he's like, he's going to give you exercises, you're going to have to work, but he's going to give you all the tools you need to know. If you're a person that just not going to do nothing.
Yeah, screw that. I want somebody that just
so they don't come in, or they don't stay with you too. You attract people that are gonna, you know, either like you or they don't.
That are looking for that.
Yeah.
I had mentioned that after class one day. I was, of course, joking with Paul, the owner of the gym, like he didn't exude excellence. And he didn't want to come train with us. But of course, Paul's a super fit and super motivated guy. But it is interesting, and I'm not busting the chops at anybody else that trains with us, because it's saying something that people are taking their free time to already be there. But that extra, my friend Aaron Cooper, that most of you guys have seen. Aaron was Army combatives instructor, Army Ranger, rode a dirt bike from here to the tip of South America, Tierra del Fuego.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just a super, super cool, motivated dude. Like, hey, you want to go for a bike ride? Okay, let's go to Madison. You know, like that's the kind of bike ride you have with Aaron. Wait, we got to go home now. Right. But every time he does something, it's like two more. Yeah, two more, 5 more, 10 more. And I think that can be detrimental too when we overtrain, overwork. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which you can talk on that better than anybody, being a...
Well, training too, when you think about training, it's what are you training for? Mm-hmm. I think that's important.
What's your goal?
Yeah, what's your goal? You know, if you're going to run, let's say an Ironman, well, if that's your goal, you have to train accordingly.
That's a marathon?
Swim. You swim
5 miles?
2.4
miles.
Yeah. Swim. Get off the bike. Get out of the water. Bike 112.
112 kilometers or miles?
Miles. Get off of the bike and then run your marathon.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're going to do that, you have to train accordingly to that. Mm-hmm. And then that'll mitigate your injuries. If you're going to not do any, you know, if you're going to just sit on a couch all day and then get up and start training for like that and not prepare yourself for that journey, then you're going to pay the price with injury. And so that's where I like to have patients start with is like, okay, can you walk an hour nonstop? I bet you a lot of people would have a hard time doing that. Mm-hmm. Then maybe we can start running. And that might be just a couch to 5K type training program. And then you conquer that 5K, then can you swim 20 minutes in a row? And you build the fitness like that. So just like with jiu-jitsu, you start off as a white belt mm-hmm. and you learn stances and position. And well, that's anything in life. You have mm-hmm. to start from the beginning. One of my favorite things to do is actually train or help patients that have been hurt running. And how we do that is we'll assess the body and see if there's any muscular imbalances, check the joints, and then videotape them run. And then
actually watch the mechanics of how they're...
Just like if you slow-mo video somebody shooting, you're like, holy cow, did you see your elbow? That's not where it's supposed to be. So now they can have a mental image of what they should look like while they run, and then we can build the strength. Cool. Or this is what you're supposed to look like when you shoot. These are the things we need to do.
What does a couch to 5K look like? I know that that's going to be dependent on a person's age, current health status.
It's a lot of walking to running. And then they'll make you run a minute, walk 3 minutes, and it'll just vary it. So by the end, you're running the whole time. And that's really good for somebody who's a beginner, I think, because it lets the body adapt. Tendons and ligaments, and even discs, they don't have a very great blood supply. And so think about like the first time you worked out and you did legs, your legs were blistering sore for a day, and then they recover. That's because the muscles have a good blood supply, so they have a high metabolic rate. They can repair themselves very quickly. But tendons, ligaments, they don't. So that takes a time for that stress to apply to the body, and then it takes a time for the body to recover and build tissues. So that, like, again, knowing where you want to go and then following that pattern to that goal. And that helps with like the body. So if you're sitting all day for 8 hours a day plus an hour commute, and now you're going to go out and start running 7 miles, something's going to break.
Sure.
So you can start with walking.
I had a brother that's in the Coast Guard. He was years ago, and I'm not busting his chops, but one of his buddies was like, I'm running a marathon. And I think it was a half marathon. My brother's not a runner. And he's like, all right, I'll do it with you. And he did it and totally trashed one of his feet from just, he wasn't a runner. And he went and busted out the half marathon, like.
Suckered it up.
Yeah, just did it and totally ended up having to have surgery on one of his feet.
Really?
Yeah, like some tendon got permanently jacked up from pounding pavement for a couple hours and not. Sorry, John. Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect example.
Yeah. Is it healthy for? I'm just reading. A friend of mine, Navy Special Operations guy, just posted a picture yesterday of him after an Ironman, and he was deployed to Africa when he did it, and so he couldn't run because it's 120 degrees where he was. So he couldn't. It's not that he couldn't run; he only could run at night. So it was after work day, tired. There's nowhere to swim, but this guy's a fish. He's a Navy Special Operations dude. He's a good swimmer, so he knew that part he had a good handle on. But the biking, all he had was a stationary bike. And he did it. He did the Ironman and completed it, but hyponatremia and dehydration and like hurt himself a little bit, and understood part of it was a nutritional problem. But you hear about this and you see these people like coming to the finish line. You've seen it a million times.
That was me.
You broke down. Like, how is that healthy?
It's not.
It's not.
No, I don't think it is.
I mean, so like if you've done this thousands of miles of your life, rode bike, swam, run, is that making you live a longer, fuller life, or is it just more of a fuller life you're enjoying?
Probably more of a fuller life. There has to be a ramification. I looked at it as if I was going to do this to my body, and even like working out with you, like when you're done, what did you put in your body when you're finished working out? And so I think training is only half of it. Are you sleeping? Are you eating correctly? And it doesn't mean you can't enjoy life and have a couple drinks on the weekend.
Wait, what do you mean? Even me? What are we talking about?
Yeah, you drinking too much.
Who's drinking too much?
What's in that coffee?
2 cups of coffee?
No, but just that. The ability to, if you're going to train, then the other aspects of training, recovery, nutrition, your core work, the stuff that we do after class.
I've become a fanatic about sleep. Where when I was in my 30s and 20s, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Now, I've even been known to wear like the mask. My wife has one, and I've taken it. I'll put that sucker on. I put noise-canceling headphones on. I don't drink like liquids before I sleep. So I still get up to pee, but I try to like limit anything that'll screw up my sleep, because it's, I don't know how much older you are than me, but the aches and pains and shit, like, we need to heal.
I have a sleep tracker.
Do you?
Yeah.
What is it?
This is my sleep tracker. This is called an Aura Ring.
What is it?
And I'm big into sleep too, but that's my sleep tracker.
Okay, so I have a watch that supposedly tracks this stuff. So this thing looks like it's doing pulse.
Does resting heart rate, heart rate variability, and then I'm not sure how it does it, but it can tell you if you slept lightly, if you slept deep, how much
So
REM
it's probably
sleep.
feeling you moving around.
Yeah,
and
most
stuff.
likely. And then it'll give you a score. The reason I got it mostly is for heart rate variability. And so heart rate variability tells you how recovered you are. And so that's
Variability meaning like high to low?
the time between each heartbeat is
Okay.
heart rate variability.
Okay.
And it's individual. So like my score is different than your score.
Sure.
It's based off of it. But we have two different types of nervous system in the body, or automatic nervous system. We have sympathetic, fight or flight, parasympathetic, rest or digest. And so if we're recovering, we would be in the rest and digest. Parasympathetic, you have a longer interval between heartbeat and heartbeat. But if we're training really hard and we're really applying a ton of stress, that interval will decrease, and that's what heart rate variability could tell you. Like, so if you wake up after a three-hour run the next day and your heart rate variability is in the toilet and it's really low, well, that might be a day you do a lighter workout. You don't do a hard interval.
So you're
workout
using this data to affect
affect my training.
Okay, you're not just saying, "Oh, cool, I slept good."
No, I'm using it to train my
Okay.
data.
What's your resting heart rate on average?
42,
42?
Yeah.
And you're a grown up.
46.
Okay. Yeah, and that's that's fantastic. That's Olympic athletes' resting heart rate.
Is it?
Well, you know this stuff.
I didn't know. That sounds good. Is it? Really? Holy cow. I should have been in the Olympics.
I read it on Google.
Okay. Let's type it up. Plus
No,
with
I
the
mean,
computer.
you know that. I mean,
It's
it's like
lower the better, but there's
Yeah.
also a limit to how
Yeah,
low
yeah,
you
yeah.
want it. You're like,
when
"Fix it
Lance
out."
Armstrong was like, even though all of the bad things that came on with him, what was it? Was his like 38 or something
his was super
ridiculous?
low.
Yeah, just
I think I.
as efficient as can be.
Yeah, he was super efficient. They did after they stripped his medals. They had to go to 100th, like all the way down to 100th place to find somebody that wasn't on juice at that particular time. So even out of all those people, he's still the best. So if it was actually a clean field, he still would have been the best.
That's interesting. I never thought about that. One thing I've always thought about in context of that, dude still had to go out and ride his ass off and run.
Nonstop. He still trained like an animal.
Yeah, he did.
He's still the best of the best of everybody's still on steroids. It's simply amazing.
It's true. I'm not laughing at you. It's just, when you look at it like that, I never thought about that all the way down the field they had to go. It's an interesting thought. So a guy spends his life. There was a barber I had in town growing up. He was he's still alive. His name's Tony, old time barber shop.
Right.
And he walked around like his knees were just shot, busted. He was the track coach for the local high school in my town. So he'd wake up, jog himself for his own training. Then he'd go work the barber shop all day. Then after school, he coached the track team, and he would run to each kid's house in the neighborhood. They'd come out, get in line with him, and that was their warm up. Then they'd go to the track and field, and they'd do their thing, and he would run home. So he said there were weeks that he was running hundreds of miles. He's now had both of his knees replaced, and this is back in the 60s. So like the nutritional stuff that we know now wasn't there, but the doc told him, like, your heart will probably last forever, but you have completely trashed your knees, your ankles, your feet, just burned him out. But clearly he loved to run.
Yeah.
Like that to me is weird. Not weird in the sense of why do you love to run, but I don't want to do something that's trashing myself. That's supposed to be helping me.
Yeah, that's a good point. See, I'll counter that with the guy who works, we'll just use anybody. Let's do the hard driving CEO that works 13 hours a day.
Drinks a quart of whiskey or vodka.
Or what, not even he. Let's say he just is a normal guy, but just loves to be in the office.
Okay.
There has to be ramification to that.
Oh, sure.
So his heart isn't healthy, or he has diabetes or high blood sugar. Well, the same thing, and cholesterol.
Yeah, I mean, so you're going lesser of two evils, but I mean, and I'm not talking down about that type of activity. I'm trying to figure out how it is somebody can partake in that and not destroy themselves.
And that's what we'll go over today, I think, is if we are going to, and we talked about it before, if we're going to, whether it's shooting, jiu-jitsu, running, biking, swimming, it's the other stuff that hopefully will help keep us healthier so that we don't pay the price as much.
Okay. I mean, in my opinion, I was a carpenter for 25 years in construction. My family's all carpenters. And I'm the only one that has not had to have back surgery. I don't have any surgeries on me, which, but I've always was careful. I mean, I, of course, pulled muscles, and I've had times where bursitis and things got me to the point that I could barely move, but that was from probably some repetitive thing and then pushed it over the limit. But I always was careful. But we're made to do that.
Yes.
It's just we in this society, we get these repetitive jobs where the guy with the hoe digs the same way. That carpenter does this.
All day.
Yeah. Where I think in the context of history, you did climb, dug, swam, lifted, you did all kinds of stuff.
And I don't think we lived as long either.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's another good point. The neighborhood I live in here, there's a cat that lives up the street. He's a World War II vet. I think he's 93.
There's not many people left from World War II.
He walks every day. It's a 2.5 mile loop in our neighborhood. And he has a little tiny toy dog. Super nice guy. He's a gardener. Sometimes he'll come give me advice on my stuff. But he walks just like you or I, upright, brisk walk. And he'll, every day, rain or shine, he does that walk. And other neighbors, they tell him, Mark, you shouldn't be out doing this. And he's polite, but he'll say to me, like, what, should I sit at home and like drink tea and rot away? Like, of course I have to move. And he walks briskly, and there's hills. And he says, well, if I can't get out and walk, then I'm going to just die.
I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
And there's the balance. For him, is it a little bit of genetics? Is it he just taking care of himself and keep walking? And how many people have you known through your life that are retired and then sat in front of the TV and then just fall apart?
Right, just waste away.
Yeah.
I feel it. If there's like a long weekend in which we just bum around and watch Netflix and eat, you get up on Monday morning and you're like, ah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But there too, like, think about it. Training wise for us changes with each decade. So you can't do what you did when you were 20, or maybe you can. I can.
No, there's things. I used to be able to jump over a car, could dive over a car, land on my hands and roll. Yeah. If I did that right now, every bone in my body would be broken.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even that. But think about how much more we have to work, or even I do, and maybe you, on your mobility, or foam rolling, or stretching, where, when you were 20, you never stretched, ever.
I did stretch, except it was only because I wanted to be more flexible.
So you could kick higher.
I got a buddy, Scott Puckett's his name, and Scott's 48, very thick, very strong power lifter type physique. And he and I were talking about this, like, it's 30 minutes. We were together, staying in a house together, doing some training. He's a cop down in South Carolina. And it's like both of us were like, ah. And it's not because we're even old and broke, but to your point, the muscles need to
loosen up and do better.
Get juiced up and warmed up. I put a sauna in here. That was the best thing that I've done in, it's an investment of money in a long, long time. I'll go in there first thing in the morning after doing like some light stretching, drinking water, and then come out for like 10 minutes, let my body temperature come down a little bit.
You don't do like contrast, like straight into cold, back into
I have done it.
Did you like it?
I got a shower over here, and I'll walk across, jump into the ice water. And in the wintertime, we'll go out the door and
that is cool.
Tried it. Yeah.
I've never done it. I heard cool things about it.
It's fun. I'm not like a fanatic about it. Wife tried it once. She's like, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
It's too cold.
Yeah, no. I liked it. Yeah. I don't know if some people, I think, get fanatical about that. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of studies on the
cold thermogenesis.
Yeah. I got a buddy that runs one of those cryo clinics where you sit in the, and I've tried that before, and it's like, I think a bucket of ice is colder.
I did it too, and I didn't think any. I was like, okay, I'm gonna feel so good, and I sat in there, and I was like, it's just cold.
Yeah, and they got the little point in their wand in your elbow, and it's like it kind of just feels like an ice pack.
Maybe I didn't give it enough time.
I don't know.
I hear a lot. I have a friend who loves it. He's like, it's the greatest thing ever.
Mm-hmm. Professional athletes, Kung Leaf, the fighter, is a friend of ours. He said, hands down, it changed my life. But then you hear other people, so maybe it's like anything. Chiropractors are fake.
Seriously, right? Well, and also that's the thing. It's not everything works for everybody.
Yeah.
So chiropractic might not work for some people. It might be the greatest thing, the miracle cure. Fish oil, or like what is it? Jocko loves krill oil on his podcast, and he loves it. And somebody might take it, and it might not be as good for him.
Sure.
It's experiment, I think, too. Figure out what's going on, like sleep or nutrition or X supplement. If it works for you, then that's a N equals 1. That's good.
I think stress, man. I think that's like the thing.
I'll agree with you. Stress is.
We do more, we sleep less, we eat worse.
Seriously.
And then like drink or take pills or something to every family I know has somebody in their family on like serotonin uptake inhibitors, like name any one of the big antidepressants or
I think that's the number 1 prescription
is it now?
Some type of antidepressant. Yeah.
And then like benzodiazepam, the anti-anxiety meds, and it's almost like I've got a friend that for 15 years every day has to pop a Xanax, and like, what happens if you don't? Oh, I don't even want to find out.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're like, not only is that not healthy, but you're not growing. You're not dealing with, like, it's scary to have anxiety. I had chronic anxiety for years as a young man and never would take any of that stuff. And that's part of the reason that I do what I do, because it's like, if I don't deal with
Was that your drug then? What you do now? Like, did you change it and focus it a different way?
No, I've told the story numerous times about my brother and I, several family members and I, due to some conditions of how our childhood went, had and have, I don't, but had and have, some of us have chronic anxiety, depression.
Mm-hmm.
And we just decided, like, sort it out, and we began doing things that created anxiety. My brother jumps out of airplanes, climbs 2,000-foot rock faces, got a job climbing towers, just cool. To do things that like unnerved him, and then got really comfortable at that, and then he'd go do something else. And then I've always wanted to take a picture and get it published, and that unnerved him. National Geographic picked up one of his pictures, like just kept pushing and pushing. So it became a cycle of self-belief, like I can do this thing, thus I should be able to do this thing, and then that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretty simple, nothing fancy. But the abuse we do to ourselves was my point, the stress and stuff, and then we just look for like simple ways out. I was just reading something, I'm going to say this and I'll shut up, that like they just lowered the numbers for high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, from like 130 over 90 to like 120 over 80, right? And they said, we're not lowering it because these numbers are better, but we'll give you more time to actually like realize that you are creeping towards hypertension and make people aware, so that the doctors will say, instead of waiting till you're at 130 or 140 numbers, at the 125, they're going to say, hey, you should probably start doing something.
So that would be good, I think. Yeah. Except, and I'll be the chiropractor, and a skeptic. Is it just to push more drugs? So now,
100%, man. I don't disagree with that.
So here you go. Here's another pill for you, because instead of being like, hey, dude, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Drop that man bod.
I'm not a triathlete like you. I was at the doctor for my shoulder a year ago. Went to my family doctor to get a regular routine checkup for life insurance, and I had told him the shoulder's been bugging me. Who should I see? He sends me to this local ortho that's like the shoulder expert, and I sit down with the nurse because I'd never been there, doing a checklist, and she hands me a paper from whatever federal agency that says I'm
overweight,
obese.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And I put it down. She's like, you sign this that we gave it to you. And I'm like, okay. So I sign it. Doc comes in and he goes, who gave you that? And I'm like, you guys did. I don't know. I'm just sitting here. And so he's got a young person with him that's like shadowing him, learning the office. And they've been having a discussion about the medical field being in disarray. And he's like, this is the shit I'm talking about. Like, I'm not like a men's health cover model, but I don't think I'm
out of shape.
Yeah, or obese. Yeah. Like, what the shit? But like, that's like,
well, yeah, because it doesn't go for muscle.
Yeah, it was weight and height. But like, that's, even that nurse though didn't have the common sense to be like, I don't need to give him that.
But they said everybody's overweight. You got to give them that.
Right. Goofiness. So I keep talking and not even giving you time to talk. What do you guys want to hear him say? Oh, this isn't live. What are some basic things that, and we're going to film a second video out in the gym area. What are some basic things people can do to reduce resting heart rate, drop BP, keep their body flexible and sexy, etc.?
That's a good question. I would probably, if we had to pick one particular thing for time, we're gonna use an easy formula. It's 180. So this is going to be for heart rate. 180 minus your age is going to be a zone 2 heart rate. So there's different zones. And so like if we went out and sprinted up a hill and by the end we're totally out of breath and our heart is pounding out of the chest, that would be a high heart rate. And now if we go for a leisurely walk and we get our heart rate closer to that 180 minus your age, that's going to be fat burning zone. And I think that would be one of the better things we can do.
Okay, so
just easy health, not hardcore training. Somebody's just starting out. Your wife's overweight, you're overweight. You guys get up off the couch, the hardest lift, hold hands, go for a walk, inexpensive heart rate monitor, and try to bring that heart rate up. So I'm 46, so that would be about 135 beats. If I stayed within that zone, that heart rate, that's my zone 2 heart rate.
How long do you need to hang out there for?
I'll probably say at least 30 minutes at bare minimum.
So even like a nice bike ride.
Yes, raising your heart rate.
45-minute bike ride where you're cranking.
Yeah.
I do a bike ride out here. It'd be good. You can come and teach me some bike riding. I've got a halfway decent road bike. I've got like a 15-mile loop.
Oh, cool.
And it's out in the country. And my goal, I don't have any bike riding skills. Like I'm not like,
You're not in the aero?
Yeah, no. I'm listening to music and
getting run over by the car.
No, I'm not doing that. But my goal is I go as hard as I can the entire time.
Right.
So like even on downhill runs, I'm upshifting and trying to crank. Yeah.
So that would be more of like an interval workout.
Okay.
Where you're just pounding your heart rate. And
I mean, it's still like 40 minutes for me to do that, 30 minutes.
We have enough sugar or enough glycogen in our muscles to do a 1 hour workout like that. Yeah.
How long does it take to replenish that?
It depends on your training. But, if you get off the bike and you put 20 grams of protein and a banana and a little rice milk, that'd be enough.
Okay.
So that is burning the sugar that's stored in the blood, or your blood sugar, and the sugar that's stored in the muscle. That lower zone 2, we're going to start recruiting fat for our fuel. And then that's the difference between the two. That hard ballistic workout, we're not doing much for fat mobilization. And
what does fat mobilization mean?
The stored fat.
Okay.
So like think about the person who crashes in the mountain. They can almost live for 2 weeks without food, but they need water or you would die. Well, that's fat mobilization. So we have a ton of stored energy and fat.
What about you though? You're pretty fatless. There's still enough on you.
Yeah, I could that. And that's that lower zone. And I think that would be one of the best things. And then obviously the next biggest thing.
So basically you're saying brisk walk 20, 30 minutes a day.
Yeah. For the beginning. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then once you get good, then you can start killing yourself on a bike for 40 minutes.
And I'm not that, I don't do that all the time. I might do it 30 times a summer, It's like, all right, I'm going to jump on the bike and go crank it out. Yeah. Makes me feel good.
It's good. There's a lot of,
Drench in sweat.
There's one of the best things for depression, exercise.
Heck yeah.
Damn straight.
Yeah. That's sad that that's not made more well known. I mean, people know it, except here, take this. Not, hey, why don't you go
For a walk.
Or
go for a
and
run.
then come see me in a month after you've run every day before we start altering your brain.
But there's the two different people in life.
Yeah, the easy way or the
Hard way.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this from once, and it was hard decisions, easy life, easy decisions, hard life. And that's the biggest thing. It's easy to watch YouTube. It's easy to go through the drive-through. It's difficult to pick up a book and read. It's difficult to make dinner. It's difficult to get up off the couch.
Yeah.
And then after that, then it's easy. Then you just figure out what you want to do and what your goal is. And then you just find the right people and get help and go that way. You know, I have a coach for my triathlon.
Do you?
Yeah.
And what do they know that you don't know, or what is he or she? Is it more to keep you on the straight and narrow?
Also, too, it's just somebody overlooking. I might
Okay.
know the same stuff he knows just because of my field, but he might have more experience. He might have hundreds of athletes or thousands or 20 years of training, and then you give him your goal. I want to do this race, and he devises the plan, and you just entrust him, and you do it.
I dig it.
That's the best.
What do you think about this? You've done lots of study, reading, research in your life about achievement, personal development, self help, self growth kind of stuff. And I'm not saying I'm hard and fast on this, but I'm starting to develop this idea that either you're the type of person like we're talking about that wants to say, all right, I'll take the hard road and figure it out, or you're the type of person that's just the easy dude and that's just the way you're wired and that's just it. You get what I'm saying?
I kind of.
I mean, and it's almost a negative, it's almost a cynical look at it, but it's like there are only the people that are listening to us right now.
They get it.
And they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And maybe like you and I have stacks of books like this at home, and you said it the other day, they're all the same. Talking about like self-improvement books. It might be one guy's take, but it's like if that person really wants it to get fit, not that we all don't go down dark roads that we need to walk out of, but like it seems like a large chunk of the human race is the type of people that are just, my friend Z says, that just want to take the path of least resistance. Is that like you get what I'm saying?
I know. I'm trying to like see if I can answer it because I don't know. We all had that friend that was 600 pounds. And then one day he's like, this.
So did that dude always innately have it and it was just waiting for that?
Yes, I think so. It's all in us. Well, in your field, you've always heard stories of like the person who could have been the victim, but they weren't. Or the 600-pound person, or even me, like, like I went to that day, I went to that doctor, that chiropractor, and I said, man, that's what I'm going to do. They told me I was going to be a garbage man because I was just like, not the smartest kid in school, jacked around.
I hate when adults tell kids shit like that. I hate it.
I know, but that's
pisses
what they said.
me off.
And I was a jerk. I was a jerk, probably.
You're a kid. You're a kid.
But it made it, but they tell you that though, and it's unfortunate. And I think, it's just finding yourself sometimes and working towards that goal. And we're never perfect. We aren't perfect, and it's just constantly striving to make yourself a little bit better. The 600-pound person that decided not to be 600 pounds, the person that wants to do like triathlons or run a marathon, but it's in us. I don't know how we can get everybody to come out and have a fulfilling life.
I have, I don't know if I have one down here. Maybe I do. We've got a printout that we give to our students. Do I have one? It's nauseatingly simple, and it's a little worksheet. I don't think I have one down here. And it says, what's your goal?
Exactly.
Identify 3 steps that you can apply action to get to the goal, and then number 3, apply action. Like, it's super, super open like that, but people are like, oh, like, at least I've got this like basic format. And I think most folks, I'm fortunate that I have made so many mistakes in my life that I can personally say I've done that. So young men will send us text messages. I had a guy the other day send me a text or an email on social media, and basically he said, I'm super depressed. I'm married. I have kids, and this is how he felt. Like, I'm just like, I'm like, well, what do you want? I don't know. And it took me like, it took me like 20 tries. So finally, I'm like, if you could close your eyes and just snap your fingers, and the world would be as you want it to be. And he's like, he admitted something. I don't want to say it because people might know.
Yeah.
But he's like this, and I'm like, well, what's stopping you? I don't know. But I think sometimes we don't even give ourselves the opportunity because some asshole said, you're going to be a trash man.
Yeah.
We don't give ourselves the opportunity. Like, I never could run an Ironman. I mean, I couldn't. I can barely.
We could do it.
You know what I'm saying? Though, we do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to jiu-jitsu. I couldn't be a doctor. I couldn't own my own business.
Yeah, anybody can do it. That's the truth. Well, like another tip would too for along that is let's say you want to lose weight or you want to go to jiu-jitsu or whatever. Get a calendar. 1 year from now, write down what you want, whatever it may be. Write it down. Like, I have personal goals for work, and I'm trying to get to that goal, and I write it down, and then I'm like, how am I going to get there?
What do I got to do?
What do I got to do? So whether it's goal, action, find a right coach, take a class, just do something to get there.
Start with something. Yeah, you got to be defined. I want to be more accurate. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Or I want to be healthier. What's that look like?
Seriously.
You want to bench press 500 pounds, or do you want to walk 5 blocks and not vomit?
Yeah, seriously. What is it going to be?
Yeah. I had a dude in class. I was down in Kentucky. Couple cool guys in that class. One guy, we always ask, just like in any combative scenario, like, anybody have any injuries we got to know about? Nobody said anything, and the dude raises his hand. He's like, I got stage 4 terminal cancer. I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty serious. And he was diagnosed, I want to say 2 years ago, but they gave him 3 months to live at the time of diagnosis.
And he's doing pretty well.
He is, and he's looked well, and he was fit, and he fought through and is continuing to fight through. So that guy was really motivating. Other people in the class were like, damn, I was feeling shitty because it's raining.
Yeah.
You got stage 4 cancer.
Right.
And then there's another dude, he was super fit, like this little stocky block of a guy, and I started calling him Muscles, and I'm like, how much can you bench press? We found out that for like 3 years he had the world record of 703 pounds.
Wow.
This guy was like 100, and he was only like 180 pounds.
He could do it.
So for his weight class, maybe he was 210. I don't remember the weight class. 703 pounds. So I started thinking, I'm like, I could never bench press that. And like, yeah, you're right. You couldn't, because you're not going to put the work in to do it. But like,
you don't have enough years in your life to get there now.
Yeah, that's like a third of your car's weight.
You could do juice.
Yeah, this guy was all natural too, because they
Wow.
and he wasn't that huge. I mean, he probably had like 17-inch arms. He was just compact and just like a rock.
Just trained like a mofo.
Yeah, but whatever that institution is, they all are tested and all that.
Now
jazz.
that is impressive.
Yeah.
If you can do that without juice,
700 and something pounds.
that is awesome.
Yeah, it was like,
See, there's always somebody better.
yeah.
There's always somebody to look up to.
Well, then somebody beat him. They beat him by 1 pound.
It doesn't matter.
1 pound,
Doesn't
right?
matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So he's
matter.
now contemplating going back into training for
just
that,
to get it back.
just to get it back.
But maybe that's what he needed.
Yeah, a little push.
And then now he'll go and crush his record
Yeah,
and set some new ones.
it's scary.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is scary. So this is usually how I wrap these discussions. There's people will watch this from now till the time the internet crashes and is gone from the face of mankind. And you will have a moment to share Dr. Stephen Sikorsky's philosophy of life with people what is it?
Holy cow.
You'll only cross paths with these people once. Although because it's YouTube or whatever other format you guys are listening to it, you can rewind it. But let's keep the pressure on them.
Oh my God, this is pressure. This is like super soapbox.
Make sure that you stretch before you swim.
No. It would be.
I'm kidding.
I think everybody's gonna have, and I tell patients this all the time. Everybody's gonna have the health crisis. Fortunately for chiropractic, I don't have to deal with the most horrible things. Stage 4 terminal cancer. It's not. You're gonna have something. It's what we do to prevent it, and then what we do when we get it. And because there always can be healing. There always can be healing. And no matter how bad it is, stage 4 cancer, 3 months to live, he's living 2 years.
He's past 2 years.
2
now.
years.
Yeah.
So who says he doesn't have another 2?
Yeah.
Or another 4?
Yeah.
And so whether it's back pain, that's what I deal with, knee pain, if you work towards that goal, I think we can overcome almost anything. And if you're not happy, find the right person. Obviously, if you're in Elgin, Illinois, come see me. And if not, find somebody and never stop, because you can always make your life better.
I dig that.
Yeah, I think we can.
How do people find you?
I have my website is drsstevesikorsky.com, and then that's my blog, and on Facebook it's Sikorsky Chiropractic and Fitness.
We'll throw some links up. How many Ironmans have you run?
2 full, 5 halves, and then I've done a ton of the little ones.
How many just straight marathons?
Never
done a marathon. So you only wanted to do this disgusting,
horrible thing. No, I just one day. I've always kind of wanted to do one, and then on my new office, I put a shower in, and I could train outside of the kids, kid time, because I coach and stuff, and I was able to get a lot of training in around them, and so I was able to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time to come, man. It means a lot.
Well, thank you.
We're not done yet, but we're going to go out there and get something else going. We printed up this picture behind us, and anytime we've had somebody in the last month or two, we've had them sign their name and date it. So anywhere on there you want,
all right,
you just sign it, and then one day when I'm gone from the earth, somebody will see this and be like, "Man, he had all these cool people." What is today? I don't have my watch on. Is it the
5/16 or 5/17?
It's the 17th.
Well, thank you. I'm part of history now.
It's cool. Thank you.
My first interview.
If you guys haven't subscribed to this channel or to the podcast, please do. Check him out. If you're in Chicagoland and you're looking for a good chiropractor that also has some experience and background in long distance body abuse.
Seriously, right? Long distance body abuse. That's a good way to do it.
That's if you know how to teach them and keep them healthy, check it out. Look him up, and maybe you can even get him on the phone if you don't live in the area and do some paid phone consultations. I can't speak about that, but he could.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you never know. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your energy. Don't be a dickhead. Tell somebody you love them, and then later you'll be able to see what we're going to work on out here. Be well.
Thank you.
Visit our website, CarryTrainer.com, for information about classes held throughout the U.S., CarryTrainer apparel, and upcoming projects. You can also email us at training@CarryTrainer.com for information about setting up your own private course or speaking engagement. Training@CarryTrainer.com or CarryTrainer.com.